welcome back to the East London Grand Prix circuit for action now from Global Touring Cars and the GTC Super Cup. And they're making their way out to the circuit as the pit lane opens. We pick up on the two Toyota Gazoo Racing machines of Mandla Ndakani and Michael van Rooyen, who will lead the field out into the battle zone here at the East London Grand Prix circuit just on the east coast of South Africa. A big welcome to everybody who's joined us from all around the world. And I mean all around the world. We've got people down in New Zealand and Australia. Shirley McMurray's joined us on my page as well. I see there's a whole bunch of people on the Extreme Festival page as well. Thank you for all the comments that are flying there. I'll try and get across at some point and maybe give you some interaction there as well. But if you do want to interact with me directly, of course, I'm also on my page, and we're on to up to 60-second page as well. Going out on Volkswagen Motorsport worldwide as well. And a massive welcome to all of our fans and friends of the Extreme Festival and the Volkswagen classes and brand here from the East London Grand Prix circuit in South Africa. It's about 16 degrees Celsius with a real feel of about 14 degrees Celsius in terms of ambient temperature here at the circuit, which means track conditions and the track temperature will be pretty low for things starting out here for the first heat of Global Touring Cars. More importantly, though, of course, is the windy conditions. And at this point in time, we have got about a 43 kilometer an hour westerly blowing through the circuit with gusts of up to 60 k's an hour as well, coming through there from our weather app and showing you exactly how difficult things are going to be here for these drivers with the big wings on these cars. Hopefully not going to be affected too badly by it. Big battle at the front end expected with Michael van Rooyen, Robert Volk, Scotty Temple and Lee Thompson, Julian van der Walt, and of course Mandla Ndakani for the Global Touring Car side of things. And then in the Super Cup, it's Jason Campos and Brad Liebenberg ahead of Machotsi, Jeff Kruger, Saud Variawa. Roy Campos leads things out from the Masters point of view ahead of Davi Jabir, Nick Davidson, Mikhail Patamba and Andre Besaidno. That's how they'll line up for race number 1 as we are almost ready to go for that. Also just want to welcome there to Investchem Chemical Logistics, Campos Transport, Oda Cure, the Universal Healthcare team and Universal Motorsport, Team Gazoo Racing and Volkswagen Motorsport as part of our broadcast sponsors for this event. And also helping us out here, of course, on the live stream as we see the Odacure car. That's one of the sponsors. One way to get your name on TV is get Odacure to spin out down at Cochabana. Underbrain just spinning out there, and that was nice of Mikhail Patamba and Saud Variawa, giving that car an opportunity to get back on track. Cold tyres. In fact, I don't think it'll be a case of cold tyres. Remember, they've got these Dunlops that'll have a chance to get some heat into them on that first lap. They're still going to have a formation lap behind a safety car as well to get more heat into the rubber, as we're seeing shots here of Michael van Rooyen, and he'll be climbing out the car, of course, to get the pole position award, courtesy of Dunlop Tyres. There he is, the Rustenburg Rocket, Team Gazoo Racing, hopefully looking to emulate what his team did last weekend at Le Mans, and look for a 1-2 there for the team. The Rustenburg Rocket there. He's just chatting to our camera. He's not quite sure what he needs to do. He's going to stand in front there as the team from Dunlop Tyres South Africa hand him his pole position award. Michael van Rooyen, 2,500 rand. Thank you for that. He'll get back into the car and get ready to go. That Dunlop team should be making their way down the grid as well to go and do Global Touring Cars, Super Cup category. And that'll be going to Jason Campos, who put it onto pole position for the first time for the Campos Racing team in the Super Cup class. So that's awesome stuff. You can see that's the kind of conditions we're dealing with here. You can see the white horses out on the water. Means it's very choppy if you're in the sea. You saw a big Grinrod liner making its way around there, one of the freight liners, and battling to get through the very tricky conditions out at sea. But of course that also just emulates here onto the tricky conditions. And look, just from this shot, how difficult it is for our cameraman at turn 1 at Potters to just keep a steady shot because of the amount of wind that's pumping through here. And that's on a tripod as well, so just to give you an indication how hard our team from up to 60 seconds and 2 wheels is working here today. Big thanks once again to Thiessen's Generators, to Simon Thiessen here from local company supporting us with the generator in case we go down at some point. But there we go, Jason Campos, he'll get the 2,500 rand for pole position in the Super Cup class. We are once again linked up with Link Online, specializing in broadband connectivity and the internet management, basically anything that is IT, and you can get them on linkonline.co.za. One of our assistant sponsors this weekend to give us coverage and allow us to get all around the world on our live stream. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. There will also be a post-production of this going out on Ignition TV, and that'll be in about 2 weeks' time. So final preparations there for the pole man, Jason Campos. It's always a nice thing to get that 2,500 rand, but it kind of messes around a little bit with your race face, because you've got to get in and out the car to get that money and then get back into the zone. It doesn't take these guys too long to do that, though, I can tell you. East London Grand Prix circuit, two of the most famous corners in the country in terms of racing. Potter's Pass, Turn 1, and Rifle Range. One of the fastest corners in the world, never mind in the country, in terms of motorsport. Hope you enjoyed all the pre-race antics there with catching up with Super Cup class. The top three in the championship and the top three in the Masters side of things too. Two-minute board goes up, and we get ready to roll now for the rolling start for Global Touring Cars and Super Cup combined. See, there's a little break in the grid just to give the Global Touring Cars a chance to start their own race. But I can tell you right now, the pace that was coming out of Jason Campos, Brad Liebenberg, Jonathan Mahotsi, Jeff Kruger, and Saud Variawa, not too far off the back end of the pace that's being set at the front with the Global Touring Cars 6. So expect to see possibilities of Super Cup cars maybe catching the back end there of the GTCs. Yeah, we're not at Swartkops, as you can see. It's a full 30 seconds and a full minute that you're going to be given here from the Global Touring Car start procedure. If it was Henny the Flag, you'd have the fastest 30 seconds of your life. It takes about 3 seconds at 30 seconds. See some fans and, of course, joined us on the bankings around the circuit. There's not much we can do about that, although there is no spectators allowed. Anybody that you see on the inside of the circuit, of course, are all part and parcel of the teams that are involved here in the Extreme Festival. Campos, Liebenberg, Mahotsi, and Kruger. We got 4 Toyota Corollas, a BMW M2, and the Ford Focus that are involved in Global Touring Cars at the front. Scott Temple maybe looking to try and get ahead of his teammate there, Robert Volk, for honours in the InvestChem Chemical Logistics team. Massive improvement coming out of Lee Thompson and Team Red Racing's Universal Motorsport BMW M2. And we caught up with him this morning with an interview on their page on Facebook, and he was saying that he's done as much as possible due to the lack of aerodynamics that the M2 body gives him to run that car and get it to pace he's got it to so far. As I said, you got Campos there from Liebenberg trying to get as much heat into those Dunlops as possible. Mahotsi behind him. Saud Variawa will be a definite concern in this race, and we'll also have to keep an eye on Andre Besaidnout. He's the championship leader in terms of how things have gone so far in the Masters side of things there for Team Perfect Circle, just behind the Toys R Us car of Michael Potamba. Then you've got Johan de Bruin in the Odacure car, and of course 2 new drivers to the series at the back end there too is Sam Hammond in the Trinity Protection Services car, and Nicky Dix in the Curvent air conditioners machine too. So nice to see a couple of new drivers joining the fray in Super Cup. We've got a couple more that have been touted throughout the weekend for opportunities to be part and parcel of the Super Cup class. So definitely something exciting happening here with Super Cup. I've heard a few names being thrown around there. One of them, of course, coming out of a snowboarding career and some saloon car racing. A bit of a BMW fan and, of course, a McLaren fan as well. But Tata Corello, if you're listening and watching on our coverage here, we're looking forward to seeing you behind the wheel of one of these cars, buddy. Here we go. We're under starters' orders now as they roll through Global Touring Cars. Side by side, 6 of them about to go to battle down towards Potter's Pass, led out by the poleman, Michael van Rooyen. The Rustenburg Rocket for Team Toyota Gazoo Racing And alongside him, Robert Volk looking to outgun that man towards turn 1. The flags drop, lights go out, and we go racing. It's a second start now, waiting for the lights now for Jason Campos to dictate the pace. But as they head towards Potters, it's 6 by 6. 2-2-2, eventually slotting in. And Temple just getting ahead there of Lee Thompson through Potters Pass. So they head towards Rifle now. Bit of a battle at the back there between Undakani and Van der Walt. Van der Walt on the inside of the Toyotas. They go through Rifle range. That's at about 220 k's an hour in these global touring cars. And now onto the brakes into Copacabana. Late braking from Van der Walt, getting on the inside of the Toyota, but he's not able to make it stick. It's Campos from Machotsi from Liebenberg, as the Super Cup cars make their way down towards turn number 3 here at the East London Grand Prix circuit. Roy Campos up ahead of Jeff Kruger. Jeff Kruger with Davidson on his tail. Then you've got Davy Joubert jumping in there as well. One car I failed to mention on the grid there. Apologies to them. He's in the Wild Rose Gin car. And already applying pressure onto the back end of that big field. Saud Variawa with a good start as well, right on Kruger's tail as they went flying through. So let's see how things change up there as we watch GTCs head up towards the top of the hill for the first time to complete this first lap in anger. It's 12 lapper. And they're about to complete the first one of the 12. It's Van Rooyen headed up. Good move there from Van der Walt into the last corner. Just dives on the inside of Mandandakani and moves the Ford up one position ahead of the second of the Gazoo Racing Corollas. Top 6 across the line, waiting for Super Cup to do the same. We pick up on action mid-pack. As you can see, they're going at it there big time. Sam Hammond, Nicky Dix at the back end, fighting hard there with Andre Besaidnote and Johan de Bruin. That's the back end of that field. Front end is Jason Campos. Campos leads out ahead of Liebenberg. Liebenberg, Machotsi, Variawa. Jeff Kruger. He had a bit of engine issues in the warm-up session this morning and the qualifying, so he's going to probably just try and nurse that car to be up as high as he can. Nick Davidson, though, leads out in the Masters ahead of Roy Campos and Joubert. That's how things stand at that point in the Super Cup. So the junior drivers, it's the first 5 cars on track. Just behind them, pushing hard on Jeff Kruger's tail. Lead car in the Masters is Nick Davidson from Campos. Campos from Joubert. Then you've got Mikhail Patamba thrown into the mix there just ahead of Johan de Bruin and Andre Besaidnote down in 18th place for Team Perfect Circle. Good drive here from Kruger. He's got to just try and get as many points in the bag as he can because he hasn't got the same kind of pace as the first 4 with the engine issue he picked up. They were worried about detonation issues in that engine and possibly going to need a refresh by the time we get to the next round of this championship. Exciting times happening into global touring cars and, of course, the GTC Super Cup class, as there was an announcement made that the possibility is that this championship will be wrapped up at the Kyalami 9 Hour. And of course the Kyalami 9 Hour event will be, these will be the curtain raisers to that big event happening at the end of the year. So stay tuned on all social media for full announcement details on that. Lee Thompson flying at the moment. Trying to bridge the gap there to Scott Temple. It's kind of equidistant in that first 4. And a little bit of a gap then down to Julian Van der Walt. Van der Walt seems to have left Ndakani behind. I think Ndakani might have pulled into pit lane. Ndakani is not out on track at this point, so possibilities for a bit of issues there from Ndakani in the second of the Gazoo Racing Toyotas. Those first 5 going through there and into Copacabana, now onto the beach straight. Let's see what's going to happen. Do we see Ndakani? Yeah, he's definitely slowing. Ndakani's got a little bit of an issue there on the second of those Corollas. First one, no worries at all for Van Rooyen. He leads out over Robert Volk. 2 Chemical Logistics team drivers right on each other's tails there as Scott Temple tries to run there with Volk's pace to close the gap down on the leader. Toyota 1, 2, 3. BMW's in 4th place for Universal Motorsport. Lee Thompson is trying as hard as he can to bridge that gap, but in his own words, it's as much as he can do in that BMW, he's done. And if anybody can get a car to go right, it's definitely Lee Thompson. So he got a little bit of better drive coming out of Beacon that time out and see whether or not he can make any difference to Scott Temple's 3rd place advantage at the moment. Across the line and another lap completed. Big gap now down to the GTC Super Cup cars. They're about to come out of Beacon corner. Flying through the fastest corner in the country. That's rifle range. Potter's Pass, you've got to have huge cojones to get it all sorted out. Super Cup crosses the line again. And the battle resumes. At the front end of Super Cup, it's Campos from Liebenberg, Machotsi and Saud Variawa. Variawa just staying ahead of Jeff Kruger. Jeff Kruger, as I said, consolidating here as much as possible. Although whatever the issue is, he seems to have got it sorted out. That car seems to be firing a bit better now. And he closes onto the back end of Saud Variawa, under braking, and Mokotsi as well. A bit of a lock up there from one of the cars. Another lock up from Mokotsi as Variawa applies big pressure. Oh, he runs a bit wide. Variawa might be able to capitalize here. You can see both of them going to push to pass. The hazards on the car just telling you that the push to pass mechanism has been activated. And they're trying to use that push to pass to get through there. Variawa's got through. Can Kruger do the same thing around the outside of gate corner? He's coming through around the outside. Oh, he's just been able to slot ahead of Mokotsi. Oh, and Variawa runs wide. Variawa runs onto the dirt. Kruger takes evasive action. He drives around the outside of the youngster, and here comes Mokotsi. So a mistake there from Saud Variawa allows Jeff Kruger to squeeze through, and that's going to put him up into third place. So Kruger up to third place for Team Universal Racing and the Team Red Racing Machine, ahead of Variawa. A little mistake there from our rookie driver, of course, in this class, coming out of karting. But what a turnaround. Oh, and Kruger's out of shape. Kruger with a big moment into Beacon, locking up and getting the back end stepping out. I don't know what went wrong there, but definitely a massive moment there for Jeff Kruger as he tried to just do as late braking as possible. He slots back into where he was only 4 corners ago, and ahead of Nick Davidson and Davy Jabert. Jabert is now ahead of Andre Besaidnote, so we've had a couple of cars go missing. I don't know if we're going to pick up on anywhere around the circuit, but Roy Campos seems to have gone missing, and so by the looks of things has Johan de Bruin. De Bruin, Patamba, and Roy Campos have gone missing. So a good possibility that we may find them somewhere out on track, but they've definitely dropped out of that hunt for the second pack of Super Cup. Oh, and Variawa makes another mistake. About to have a go there into Cochabana, and it looks like the little mistake there coming out of Variawa again. There we go, Jeff Kruger with the replay going into Beacon Corner. Variawa and Mokotsi came through and were able to slot through ahead of Jeff Kruger, but a bit of change up there between those drivers, as I said. Also just trying to pick up, it looks like one of the guys might be stuck on the main straightaway. We're heading up that way. There's the Odecure car of Johan de Bruin. So top 2 have now lapped de Bruin. Behind that comes Mokotsi and Kruger. Then it's Nick Davidson. Davy Jabert right behind them. So the Johan de Bruin in the Odecure Super Cup Polo. Looks like he's got had a bit of problems on track somewhere. Doesn't look like there's any damage on the car, but he's definitely slowed up, and he's almost stopped through Beacon, allowing the rest of the field to come through. So there's a little bit of an issue there on the Odecure car. We've also lost Campos. I don't know if there was an incident between them or not, but there's a car apparently parked on the main straightaway as well. We'll try and pick up on those cars that have gone missing. It could possibly be Mikhail Patamba as well in the Toys R Us machine. He hasn't had a lot of track time. He literally wrote a matric exam on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and only got here very late on Friday to get one session in, and then had to go straight into qualifying this morning. So not a lot of time to set the car up for the way he'd like to be driving it. Out front, the Rustenburg Rocket hangs on for the lead, ahead of Volk and Temple. No changes there between the two Battle of the One cars, 31 and 41. There is the Brain coming back into the pit box and out of this first heat. That's a big loss to the front end there, because he was going so well in the last couple of outings there, and the Odecure car of Johan de Bruin having to park it on the sideline and back in the pit box. It's a big move coming here as well from Van der Walt, trying to close down on Lee Thompson. Find a way through there on Thompson's BMW. Toyota stay 1, 2, and 3 at the front with half the race completed. That is the Toys R Us car on the right-hand side, the left-hand side of the track as they travel, but on the right-hand side of our screen, Mikhail Patamba having to park that car on the main straightaway's grass. So Patamba out of race 1 as well. We're halfway, and I'm going to ask Paul to pull up our results at this point in time just to run through how we're standing with that halfway stage reached. Great drive here so far from Michael van Rooyen to beat out Volk and Temple. Thompson in 4 and Van der Walt in 5. Super Cup, it's Campos from Liebenberg. Liebenberg from Mokotsi ahead of Jeff Kruger, and Nick Davidson leads out the Masters. He's got Davy Jabert and Andre Besaidnote. So Davidson and Besaidnote, Davidson's the make-up ground on Besaidnote, but Besaidnote being in 3rd place right now could possibly keep him at the lead of the championship. Sam Hammond, new man to the series, up into 4th. Nicky Dixbus behind him. Campos, as I said, has gone missing, but he has completed the 6th lap there, so he's just dropped by the wayside. We'll keep an eye on the progress of Roy Campos coming from the back of the field now, as he's still circulating out there, but he's a long way back from the back end of this Super Cup class. Campos for Campos Transport. The Sparko car of Liebenberg in 2nd. Absolutely amazing stuff from these guys. Brilliant stuff from the top two. Campos looking for a victory, and Liebenberg looking to try and get some more victories in the bag. We spoke to him in the press conference, and he said, you know, having those victories is important. A DNF is not what you need. And that's what he had, of course, at the last round in PE only a couple of months ago. So we'll have to wait and see after this lockdown scenario how this championship is going to end up after today's racing. We've got 5 to go for these guys. Machotsi with a bit of pressure now coming from Jeff Kruger. I've seen that on numerous occasions as well. I don't think they're going to have enough time to bridge the gap between the top two and themselves. But the fight for third is just as exciting as the fight for first. Oh! Is that Ndakani? It's Ndakani. Ndakani just circulating out there, and it looked like, I thought it might have been Michael van Rooyen, but he went past his teammate. It looks like Manda Ndakani's got the car going again. But it's going to be a case of getting it back into pit lane to see whether or not the team can get that car back on track. Temple, still no option to close down on Robert Volk. Those two flying, but not fast enough to catch the Rustenburg rocket at this point either. So good drive here from Michael van Rooyen so far, as he comes to complete another lap and start the fourth last lap of action. 4 to go now for van Rooyen, ahead of Volk and Temple. Lee Thompson seems to have lost a little bit of the toe there that he was looking to close down. And see, but he is being closed down himself by Julian van der Walt in the Ford. So Ford versus BMW, Toyotas 1, 2 and 3 for GTC as they run down towards Cochabamba once again. As I said, tricky conditions here today. We've got a real feel of about 14 degrees Celsius, which means track temperatures are not going to be high. And it means that the Dunlop rubber that's available in global touring cars is going to have to work a little bit harder to try and find traction out there. You can see as Lee Thompson runs wide how little traction is available out there because of the cooler conditions here today. As I said, 43 km/h wind conditions from the west, and that's also a big factor to see how they are able to get heat into the rubber and how the track does not get any more heat into it. So it's a bit of a game to play here. And Ndakani's been caught and passed now for the second time by the leaders of Super Cup. Campos and Liebenberg, Machotsi and Kruger. Kruger using a little push to pass there. Push to pass coming out of Davi Jabir as well. Jabir going to be coming through possibly for a change up in the Masters into gate corner. Let's see whether that's going to be the case. We're watching the leaders go through there. And as they come out, it's Liebenberg fighting hard there to try and find a way past on Campos. Campos coming away from a victory in the South African Endurance Series, double victory last weekend, just up the road in Port Elizabeth. And he'll certainly be fired up from that. But it's a completely different beast he's playing in today, the Super Cup car. A great little race car. We've got a change up in the Masters lead in the background as well. The Wild Rose Gin car has now taken the lead of that battle ahead of Nick Davidson. So it's Davi Jabir who leads the honours for the Masters ahead of Davidson. And then just behind them should be Saud Variawa. It is. There he is. And look out for Team Perfect Circle's Andre Besaidnout, who should be coming through Beacon just ahead of a hard-charging Sam Hammond. Hammond and Besaidnout going at it in the background. So keep an eye on that one as well. 4th and 5th place in the Masters class. And, of course, 12th or 13th and 14th on track. So it's great to see fights all the way through this pack of cars. Campos has made up a little bit of ground, but it's not enough to possibly spoil the day there for Nicky Dix. Although, stranger things have happened in motorsport when it comes to Roy Campos and his career in the sport that we love so much. Besaidnout's still hanging on, though. And Nicky Dix, well, he has a move into Cochabamba. But now we go back to the leaders. And as they go back to the leaders into the gate corner and S's, it's a big move coming from Liebenberg. That's why we went back to them. Liebenberg had a big look. But there was a big look coming out of the Trinity car of Sam Hammond on Besaidnout as well. Up towards the top end of the field we go. Lee Thompson slowing as well. Looks like Lee Thompson's got a bit of a problem, which has moved Van der Walt up one position too. Julian Van der Walt now up to 4th place. Thompson down to 5. And we've only got, 2 laps to go starting the final. No, it's 2 laps to go. 2 laps to go for these guys. Campos trying to hang on for the win. Looks like 2nd and 3rd place pretty much in the hands of the InvestChem Chemical Logistics team. And right now, the Rocket hangs on to the lead. There you go. Into gate corner. And the two Toyotas just maintaining good pace. They just don't seem to have an answer to the pace that Michael van Rooyen is running at the front for Team Gazoo Racing. Looking to emulate what his team did at Le Mans only a week ago. Possibly take a victory there in the first heat of 2 global touring car events today. Starting the final lap. And across the line, the first 4 cars. No problem at all for either of them just yet. I did see Lee Thompson slowing down. I'm not quite sure if he's pulled into pit lane or not, but if he stayed out, he's still going to get some points for the 5 spot in GTC. There they go. Final lap has started for the global touring cars. Big margin between each of these cars. A little bit of a fight there between Lee Thompson, Mahotsi, and Mandla Ndakani initially. But really the Toyotas at the front have been untroubled. Not really fought it out with any of their teammates or their rivals. It's been kind of an even spread between the top 3 as well, heading into this final lap. Super Cup should be heating up a little bit as we wait for Brad Liebenberg to possibly have a go. Is he going to have a go here to get through on Jason Campos? Van Rooyen heading into the complex for the last time. Going to probably take him to the line and then pick up on the action between the Super Cup cars as they go into their final half of the lap. So that's Mandla Ndakani, his teammate, possibly going to be caught and passed. Might have a formation flying here to the flag for the 2 Gazoo Racing Corollas, and then right behind them, formation flying for the Chemical Logistics team as well. Ndakani will probably just go side by side with his teammate. Photo opportunity for the team photographer. There you go, can't ask for better than that. Van Rooyen takes the victory ahead of Robert Volk and Scott Temple. It's Van der Walt who's going to come through ahead of Lee Thompson for 4th and 5th place. Now we're going to hang back and see what's happening. Here they come. Campos has opened up a bit of a margin. I think he kept the push to pass right to the latter part of the race to get ahead of Liebenberg and not let him spoil the day. Good drive here from Campos. It's flag to flag from Campos, flag to flag from Van Rooyen as we just saw. And coming to the line, it's the Campos Transport Turn 1 car to take the first victory for Super Cup ahead of the Sparko car of Brad Liebenberg. Mahotsi is going to keep out the big attack there from Jeff Kruger and comes through for 3rd place to beat Kruger to the line for 4th. 5th place is still going to be in the hands of Davy Jabir. He's going to take the win in the Masters. He beats out Nick Davidson. And Sawad Variawa just behind that coming through for what will be 5th place overall in the Super Cup class. So now start to the proceedings there for Super Cup. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. Global Touring Car Super Cup will be up a bit later on as well for the second heat of the day. There's the unofficial results on the screen right now. Van Rooyen from Volk, Temple, Van der Walt. And I think Lee Thompson may have just been able to get across the line there to get that 5th place overall. Then in the Super Cup, it's Jason Campos taking a win ahead of Brad Liebenberg, Jonathan Mahotsi, Jeff Kruger. In the Masters, it was Davy Jabir ahead of Davidson. Sam Hammond eventually coming through to pip Andre Poseidon to the line there for 3rd place. Poseidon settles for 4th, the championship leader. Still hanging on to the lead of that championship for the Masters ahead of Nicky Dix and then Roy Campos completing the 15 cars in total. They took the checkered flag here for race 1 of GTC and the Global Touring Car Super Cup. Hope you enjoyed that action. We've got a little break in proceedings now. We'll be back just after that with action from the Formula 1600s. And Laren Mew will join us for commentary for that one. And we'll see you in a few minutes' time as we get into more action here from the Extreme Festival at the East London Grand Prix Circuit. See you soon. Michael van Rooyen, flag to flag victory for you, buddy. But take us through. Initially, there was a little bit of pressure from the 2 Toyotas behind you. You managed to bridge a bit of a gap and get away.
Yes, Robbie got a very good start, and I think then just before Potters he rather tried to come in behind me, which suited me fine, and I could take the normal racing line through Potters, and I sort of built a gap slowly in the first lap and the next lap, and just tried to keep a safe distance. I don't think it was the most exciting race, but important for the championship, and just tried not to make any mistakes, and so chuffed for the first win.
Nice one to go and emulate what happened last weekend at Le Mans, eh?
Yes, yes. Yeah, definitely.
Looking forward to race 2 a bit later on?
Yes, that's a different story. Got 5 cars in front of me, starting from the back, which would be a little bit more exciting, 15 laps. So, yeah, going to give it us our all, and hopefully we can do the same as race 1.
Awesome stuff. We'll hope to catch you later on, and congrats on the win.
Thank you very much.
There you have it, Michael van Rooyen there giving us a little interview. We got Davy Jabir standing by as well. Dav's going to come join us. Taking Masters class for the first time in the Global Super Touring cars, and I can tell you something, the race up front in the Masters is becoming one to actually watch out for.
Correct, so I mean we had a lucky break because we had a good qualifying, and then unfortunately Rui and Dinges came together, Mikhail, and that led me to chase after the guy that took me on the start. so we finally got him because I think he used up all his push passes, and I still had some left, so that's right.
So another battle, I think, expected between yourself and Nick Davidson there as well with Rui. If Rui's able to fix the car, he'll be back in it, there's no doubt about it. But your good mate, Andre Besaidnout, wasn't too far behind either.
Yeah, I saw him catching in the background, so I was hoping that he would come closer. But I think the tyres are definitely going off at the later end of it. Maybe we're over pushing it, but that's racing, eh?
It is a fantastic class to be involved in, isn't it?
Yes, it is. No, we're enjoying it tremendously. Thank you.
Congratulations on the win, and hopefully some more coming your way very soon.
Thank you. We hope for that.
Awesome stuff. Join us in a few minutes' time as we catch up with, hopefully, Jason Campos will be making his way down here for his post-race interview. Jason Campos, take us to an absolutely epic battle between those first 4 cars.
Yeah, tell me about it. Yes, Brad is relentless. Yeah, what a competitor. We had the pace this morning, so I knew going in we could maybe keep it. And yeah, like I said, he's just been non-stop on my tail. 12 laps of hell, in my opinion. But we got the win, and I'm sure it's going to taste so good later today with the beer and champagne.
There's no doubt about it. You still got 1 more to go, and this time you're going to come from the back.
Yeah, look, unfortunately in this thing, you got to do it all in the beginning. We'll see how it goes. I'm happy that we just got the win, so I'm going to just enjoy this. I'm not going to worry too much about the second one. And yeah, we'll just take it from there.
Awesome stuff, and congrats on the win. We'll see you later, hopefully.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Global Touring Cars proudly brought to you by Dunlop Tyres and, of course, Volkswagen South Africa, Toyota Gazoo Racing, Universal Healthcare, Odacure, Campos Transport, and Investchem Chemical Logistics for this production, as well as the TV production going out in a few weeks' time on Ignition Channel 189 on the DSTV. Okay, absolutely amazing action in the first one. And probably more now, because remember, the top 6 from race number 1 are now inverted on the grid for race 2, which is going to be pretty exciting stuff, because it means Michael van Rooyen is going to come from 4th place to try and take a victory. And it means that Jason Campos has got to come from 6th place in the Super Cup class to try and steal a double here. Looking at the way things go at this point in time, also just picking up on a few things that have happened in the interim. They were working hard to get Mandla Ndakani and Lee Thompson back on the grid, and hopefully that's the case. Some issues in the latter stages there for them, and in the early stages for Ndakani, respectively. As we've seen cars making their way down to gate corner. That is the Odacure car of Johan de Bruin. Just ahead there of, I think that's Campos. Ndakani is back on track by the sounds of things as well, in my ear. And it looks like they've also been able to get Mikhail Matamba back on track, and Roy Campos as well. Nicky Dix had some problems. We saw him having to do some battle scars and some battle scar damage and repair work to his front end of the Curvent air conditioners car. Davidson, that car there, will be on pole ahead of Davy Jabir, that car, in the inverted grid positions. Remember, Davy Jabir taking the win in the Masters category in the first race, but of course that doesn't get brought into account for the inversion on the grid for race 2 start. So it is Robert Volk and Scott Temple who should be on the front row. I don't know why Ndakani is there. Ndakani is possible. Oh no, that is, sorry, taking into account they haven't given the inversion in the top 6, that's why. So it would be Ndakani in 2nd. Lee Thompson will be on pole position. And then you should have Scott Temple, Robert Volk. In fact, what I've got in front of me in terms of the race grid means nothing, because it's exactly wrong compared to what I'm seeing lining up. So I'll just wait for them to line up before we run through that grid to see how they've chopped and changed that a little bit. I can see why there was a concern on the WhatsApp group about the grid positions that were put up. There may be a revised one here, which I think I'm just going to have a look at. There you go. There is a revised one. Let's get that one up, Greg. That's a good idea. Nice that they tell the commentators about the revision on the grid. It is Lee Thompson on pole position to start race number 2 now for the Universal Team Red Racing outfit, alongside Manlinda Carney for Team Gazoo Racing. Toyota Corolla there. Had some problems in race 1. Then you've got Julian van der Walt in the AutoZone car. He, of course, is one of 3 cars that also fall under Chemical Logistics and that team. And then you've got, of course, the WCT cars there. And Chemical Logistics sponsored Toyota Corollas of Robert Volk and Scott Temple. Temple ahead of Volk on the grid. And Michael van Rooyen at the back of that pack of global touring cars. Nick Davidson on pole position for the Super Cup class, alongside Davi Jabir. Jeff Kruger and Jonathan Mokhotsi make up the second row. Third row will be Brad Liebenberg and Jason Campos, your race 1 winner from that. Saud Variawa and Sam Hammond, and Andre Besaidenote and Nicky Dix making up the pack of Super Cup category competitors at the back. Looks like Roy Campos hasn't been able to get back on track, but we'll keep an eye on that in case he has found some way of doing that. In fact, I do see it. It's Campos, De Bruyn, and Mikhail Patamba, who will be down in the 11th and 12th rows of Super Cup. Six global touring cars and 13 Super Cup competitors about to go to battle for the second time today. Two-minute board goes up. We're into starters orders now for Global Touring Cars and Super Cup. Just clearing the grid. We then go into starters orders, and I've got to say also thanks out there to the Car Connection guys. They've supplied the 2 safety cars and pace cars for today. Eli Vergara and his team. Thanks to them. As they head down towards Potter's Pass on this warm-up lap. This is the one that's going to count, though. They come under starters orders at the end of this. Davidson and Jabir. I'm not quite sure if Nick Davidson's ever been in a situation where he's been in pole position in a race before, especially on a rolling start, but I do know that Davi Jabir has been in a situation like that before in his Honda. So he'll definitely be a man to watch out for in that Wild Rose Gin sponsored car. So it's Davidson in the Davidson car. Wild Rose Gin with Davi Jabir at the wheel. Jeff Kruger for Team Red Racing in the Universal Motorsport colours. Jonathan Mokhotsi in Volkswagen Racing colours. Sparko colours is Brad Liebenberg. Campos, and turn 1 is Jason Campos, your race 1 winner. And possibly looking to come through that pack of 5 cars ahead of him if he can. Not easy to do, that is for sure. Michael van Rooyen will definitely be looking for a chance to also get through that pack of 5 cars ahead of him to make his way to the front end of GTC and look for a double on the day. Sam Hammond, Nicky Dix, new competitors category, which is really good to see. Saud Variawa there, an old competitor, or a youngster, but been around since the start of this category, with Andre Besaidenote for Team Perfect Circles entry. Besaidenote, of course, looking to just get the rust off ever so slightly. He's been out of action for a while, having to do some off-track legal work for his company, and working frantically with, of course, his entire legal team. They've been all over the country doing bits and pieces for various cases that they're involved in, and now, of course, you get an opportunity to just maybe get some frustration out And get ready for next weekend, because he will be in action next weekend at the Samola Hill Climb in Knysna. 3-day weekend. And that'll be coming up, of course, on his page, and, of course, also some live stream action from that. But speaking of live stream, we've got to go live stream now for the action from the Extreme Festival. 6 global touring cars lined up and are ready to pounce. What is Michael van Rooyen going to do? Looks like he might have actually selected to go straight into the race anger and look for a chance to get through early on. Lee Thompson holding them up very, very dramatically there and going very late on the accelerator. They cannot pass Thompson until he's decided to make a go of it. He is the pole man, so he dictates the pace across the line. Ndakani goes into line astern through 2 potters, and then it's a good charge from the AutoZone car of Van der Walt to slot up into 3rd. He's got Temple and Volk on his tail, and Michael van Rooyen already attempting to get through there on the 2 of them. They head down towards Kokobana. Lee Thompson holds onto that inside line, not going to let anybody through, but there's a big move here from Van der Walt's defensive position as we see Temple trying to dive through. Looks like Temple might have got through. He's gone side by side with his stablemate. And as they head towards gate corner, a good possibility that he might get through. Front end, though, a good move from Machotsi up to 2nd ahead of Davidson. Campos trying to go around the outside of Liebenberg as they go into Rifle. What a start there from these guys. It's Super Cup into the breaking point. Machotsi hits the front. David Jabert. And there's Van der Walt off. Van der Walt in the AutoZone Ford has just gone sideways, coming into the complex, and has gone onto the kart circuit. That's not going to be easy to do in a global touring car. There's not a great amount of turning circle on that car. And to go through the S-bends on the kart circuit in that category is going to be very difficult. So Thompson leads from Ndakani. Volk, as we see, sideways from Campos. Campos out of shape. And Jeff Kruger just having to take evasive action as Brad Liebenberg did the same to miss the sliding Campos. And there is Campos. Eventually recovers and gets back on track. But Jay Campos had some big problems there. He went left and right and actually almost off track. He then eventually ended off track. And it's now gifted Brad Liebenberg 3rd place with Jeff Kruger on his tail. Saud Variawa applying the pressure onto Kruger as they come up towards Beacon. Great move there from them to capitalize on the small mistake there from Jason Campos, race 1 winner. And then it's Davidson fighting hard there with Besaidnout. Coming down onto the brakes again. Thompson hangs on for the lead. Can he possibly hang on for a win here for the Universal Motorsport team? Be awesome to see that. Remember, it's a 15-lap race. We're into lap 14 to go. 1 lap completed in anger and half a lap of the second one now done as well as they head towards gate. 2nd place is up for grabs, and it's a big push coming from Ndakani to get back at the 41 car. Battle of the ones. 41, 21, 31. And I'll make that 95 ahead of the 31 now. Temple losing out. And it's Michael van Rooyen who dives through to get ahead of Scott Temple. Temple now will have to try and return the favour if he can as they head towards Beacon Corner. Lee Thompson trying to get away from this pack. He's realising that Ndakani was holding Volk up slightly, but now Volk has got through. So if Volk can get through, he can possibly look to charge things down there on the first of those chemical logistics cars. And as they come across the line, Thompson still leading out. Lee Thompson controlling things at the moment. Fastest lap of GTC came from Thompson as well, 24.9. Everybody else in the 25s and 26s. Machotsi hangs on ahead of Liebenberg. Liebenberg now, and 3rd place up for grabs there from Jeff Kruger's point of view. Kruger diving on the inside. He looks to get on the inside and possibly the 3rd place, and I think Kruger will go side by side there with Davy Jabert. Saud Variawa going with him. They head towards Potters. This could be very hair-raising. Kruger's on the inside, Davy Jabert on the outside. Jabert will be leading out the master side of things and looking for a double in that category, but look at that, the 2 youngsters diving through with Kruger leading Variawa down towards Rifle. Very tight stuff here between Saud Variawa and Jeff Kruger. Exceptionally close as well between the 2 ex-stablemates and ex-teammates here from the Volkswagen Motorsport point of view. The Sparko car late on the brakes, locking up again. There's smoke out of the back of that car. I wonder if that's more than brake smoke and lock-up smoke there from Brad Liebenberg. Lots of smoke coming out of Brad Liebenberg's car there. And Machotsi would be well aware of that as they come out of Kokobana. He loses the position to Brad, but I think it might have just been under braking that big tyre smoke lit up on those 2 cars. Doesn't seem to have affected Brad's drive on the car. No, he's still able to run with it. And then it's Jeff Kruger from Saud Variawa. Jabert ahead of Nick Davidson. Nick Davidson ahead of Besaidnout in the Team Perfect Circle car. Then it's the Toys R Us and Patamba Racing car of Mikael Patamba. And a nice run here from the Oudekirk car. Much better than the first outing from Johan de Bruin. Slowly but surely getting better and better behind the wheel of that car, because it takes a while for them to get used to it. The rest of the pack coming through as they come to complete another lap. We're going to have 12 laps of action still to go for Super Cup. You can see just up the road there the recovery of the Ford. Toyota Gazoo Racing's Michael van Rooyen. He can see Robert Volk ahead of him now. He's got through on his teammate Mdekani. He's going to try and get maybe Mandla Mdekani to do a little bit of a tail gunner roll to keep out Scott Temple, so he doesn't have to worry too much about him. There are the current standings. Thompson from Volk, Van Rooyen fastest on the track, 124.4. And of course we've now got Mdekani holding Temple up for GTC. Julian van der Walt a bit further back from them. He's lost out a couple of seconds there between the two of them and dropped down to about 1.5 seconds behind Temple. Possibly even more than that. Lee Thompson trying to just maintain the gap. 24.9s out of him. Consistent 24.9s coming out of the lead BMW. That M2 in the hands of arguably one of the best preppers in the country, Lee Thompson. He doesn't only do work on his own car, he's also got to help out with, of course, all the Polo Cup category cars involved in Team Red Racing as they come through to complete another lap. Four Toyotas trying to hunt down the lone BMW out front. It's the two single manufacturers that are on their own at the front and at the back of Global Touring Cars. BMW M2, Toyota Corollas 2, 3, 4 and 5, and in 6th place it's the Ford. And Connie holding up Temple, which is allowing his teammate Michael van Rooyen to close the gap down on Robert Volk. Change up for the lead. Liebenberg's at the front ahead of Machotzi. Machotzi now being closed by Jeff Kruger. Kruger in third, possibly looking for a chance to spoil the day there for Jonathan Machotzi. The last time Machotzi came to this venue, he took a double victory in Polo Cup before he stepped up into the Super Cup class. It's how long we haven't been here in terms of Polo Cup, and the amount of times we've been here for an Extreme Festival too. So great to be back down at the East London Grand Prix circuit. Once again locking up coming out of Machotzi's car. Saud Variawa going along for a trailer ride behind Jeff Kruger. Still Davi Jabir from Nick Davidson and a Besaid note for the Masters. And also would 5th, 6th and 7th place in terms of positions overall for the Super Cup class. They come out of the right-hand sweep and up towards the top of the hill towards Beacon. Machotzi will definitely be looking to try and close things down on Brad Liebenberg. Not going to be easy to do when Liebenberg's in this kind of form. You give enough space to Brad Liebenberg and he'll just make you pay for it big time. But look at the amount of effort being put in by Jeff Kruger and by Saud Variawa to close down on Machotzi. The two of them having to work double time to close down that gap on Brad Liebenberg. Big welcome to Byron Rothwell and to Vanna Hinnop joining us here from True Race and True Sport. Watching the action here from East London Grand Prix circuit on the east coast of South Africa. Hope you've enjoyed all the action so far today. We've had some phenomenal race action in all the categories that have been out there. This is our penultimate race in terms of the live stream feed here today. Global Touring Cars and Super Cup in the house. Once again, lock up from Machotzi. He's really battling with something on that car. And the smoke coming out of it straight into the face of Jeff Kruger. Little wide run there from Saud Variawa, dragging a bit of dirt onto the circuit. Andre Besaidnout going defensive now onto his fellow prepped Fast Developments car. And Patamba Racing Toys R Us machine of Mikael Patamba. Trying to fend off the junior driver. Frisco doing a super job here today with a slightly ailing car. It wasn't quite on the same kind of swan song as it always is. A replacement of the engine yesterday and some gearbox issues in the morning, but they've seemed to have sorted it out. Machotzi now going defensive on Kruger for second and third. As they come under braking for Beacon Corner, Machotzi hangs on for now. Kruger's right on his tail. Saud Variawa right on both their tails and looking to pounce in case something goes wrong. Is that a car in pit lane? I think it was. Looks like one of the cars having to pull into pit lane there. And I'm looking at the pack at this point. I think it might have been the Ford. The Ford Focus of Julian van der Walt has just pulled into pit lane. So that's not what he wanted to do in terms of finishing for the day. And that's how we're all looking to finish things up here for, of course, Global Touring Cars. It's not going to be an easy day in the saddle here for these guys, that's for sure. Particularly right now for Robert Volk. Volk under big pressure from the Toyota Gazoo Racing Corolla of Michael van Rooyen. Into Beacon Corner one more time. Watch for the drive from the Toyota Gazoo Racing. Watch and see if the hazard lights come on. Does he go for a push to pass here to try and make a move on Robert Volk, or does he just try and use the slipstream? Doesn't want to use too many of those, that is for sure. Mahotsi, I think, also with a bit of an issue on his car. There is the Ford back on track as he rolls down towards Potter's Pass, trying to stay out of harm's way. He's looking for the second battle to come through here. That'll be between Ndakani and the 31 car of Scott Temple. Temple and Ndakani having a bit of a battle on the ones out there. Usually you'd see Robert Volk in that one too with the 41 car. But he's having his own fight with the first of the Gazoo Racing Corollas in the hands of that Rustenburg Rocket Man. So it's Van Rooyen now going on the attack. They're closing onto the back end of Nicky Dix by the looks of things. At the back end of the Global Touring Cars Super Cup category. There it is, the Curvent air conditioning car. There, big pressure now from Van Rooyen. Volk having go defensive. Tries the inside line to try and get a slightly better drive out of the complex, and he knows the circuit very well. As he comes out of the complex and heads up to the top of the hill, they're coming up on that back marker. Lee Thompson controlling things nicely at the front, maintaining good laps and capitalizing on the fact that he was on pole position and looking for the first win here for the BMW team. Team Universal Motorsport and Team Red Racing definitely up for a win here in Global Touring Cars. Down towards Potters again, catching that back marker. Hand over fist. The two of Toyotas fighting so hard, it's allowing Thompson to stay at the front. Instead of working together, they're fighting each other, which is slowing them up ever so slightly and allowing Thompson to stay just ahead. He's now put that back marker between himself and the second and third place battle. I wonder if Dix will give them some room to play. He does indeed. He holds onto the outside line. And there goes both Van Rooyen and Volk through on the Curvent Polo GTI. Still 6.5 laps to go. Looks like Scott Temple has eventually got through there on Ndakani. He's found a way through on the second of the Toyota Gazoo Racing Corollas. Let's see what's going to happen now as they head towards the top of the hill again. Is there going to be a bit of a charge on between the two Toyotas to close down Lee Thompson in the BMW? Thompson hanging on for now, but how much longer can he soak up the pressure? He did say in his interviews with us over the weekend that he's battled ever so slightly with the outright speed of the car against the Toyotas, but it's the aerodynamic package that's the biggest concern. Doesn't have quite the same aero package as the two Toyotas, and able to get through the air a lot smoother are the two Corollas. You look at the front of the BMW as well, if you get a chance to get up close and personal like we do here in pit lane. There's a lot of the air vents that have been taped up or boarded up ever so slightly with some carbon fiber. This is the lead of Global Touring Cars Super Cup. Liebenberg, Mahotsi, Kruger and Saud Variawa. We saw Kruger a lot closer to Mahotsi with 6 to go. Is there going to be a change up there? 9 laps down, 6 to go now for the second heat of Global Touring Cars. And still pressure being applied by Michael van Rooyen on Volk. Thompson just controlling things, watching that rearview mirror all the time, realizing that these two Toyotas are fighting so hard. So, he doesn't have to push to the limit. He's got to be just there or thereabouts on the limit of that car to stay ahead of the two Corollas fighting. He knows that if they're fighting that hard, they're going to be slightly slower than him. And if you look at the lap times, that's exactly the case. 25 1s out of Thompson, 25 6s and 7s out of the two Corollas, respectively. Down into Rifle, heading towards Cochabana. Looks like Volk is slowly but surely starting to do slightly later braking and starting to reel the BMW in. Van Rooyen trying to get a slightly different line out of Cochabana. Oh, cheeky. Robert Volk came across on him and blocked the move, and he had to change direction halfway through what he was thinking of doing. That again is also going to be a bit of an issue to slow them down. Now they go side by side into gate corner. Van Rooyen tucks in behind the chemical logistics car. Not quite there just yet, but he's definitely having a sniff. Top of the hill one more time for these three. Thompson from Volk and Van Rooyen. Corolla boys just putting on a demonstration here of racecraft and tactics. 4 laps to go for Lee Thompson. Can he hang on? Thompson's been in this kind of position for a couple of times in the past in various categories. So he'll know what to do not to make mistakes in that BMW M2 of his. Variawa still hasn't found a way through on Kruger. So 1, 2, and 3 there, still Liebenberg, Machotzi, and Kruger. I've said that a million times in my race career as well. Amount of times that those 3 cars have fought it out. But Variawa now into the mix there with them too. Even spread between these first 4. And it's the first of the Masters. It's the Wild Rose Gin car of Davy Jabert. Davidson still in second for the Masters class, but that'll be 4 and 5 on the road. In fact, 5 and 6 on the road, I beg your pardon, for the Super Cup class. That's the spread down towards the final corner at Beacon. And we're just behind them. Davidson is left Andre Besaidenout and Johan de Bruin to resume their little fracas with Mikhail Patamba and Nicky Dix bringing up the back of the field completely. We've seen Nicky Dix has already been caught and passed by most of the global touring car competitors. So Sawad Variawa stepping out of karting and into the Super Cup class instantaneously, making it look relatively easy, but I can tell you that's not the case. Makes it very, very difficult for youngsters to come through into this class, particularly with the caliber of drivers. And of course more of them coming along in the very near future, we believe. Great to see that the Super Cup class and global touring cars have managed to get Volkswagen, South Africa, Toyota Gazoo Racing, Dunlop Tires, Universal Healthcare, Odacure, Campos Transport and Investchem Chemical Logistics to put some money behind a television package for this as well. So not only will we be able to see the race action here on our live stream feed, but in about a couple of weeks' time, we'll also get a TV package going out on Ignition Channel 189 DSTV. Those are the standings. Thompson, Volk, Van Rooyen, Temple and Ndakani. Brad Liebenberg leading Super Cup ahead of Machotzi, Kruger, Sawad Variawa. Super Cup Masters, Davy Jabert, Nick Davidson and Andre Besaidenout ahead of Johan de Bruin. So that's how we are looking. And we've got, well, it's going to be 2 laps to go now as they start to close on the back end of the tail of Super Cup. Should be possibly looking to close things down there. I think it's going to be on Mikhail Patamba. He'll be the next of the Super Cup cars, possibly in the sights of Lee Thompson, Robert Volk and Van Rooyen as they head down towards Cochabana Corner. It is a metallic grape Toys R Us sponsored car, about to be caught now by the BM and the 2 Toyotas. A little bit of brake dust and smoke coming off one of the cars as they went down into Cochabana. Bit of dust off the side of the track as Michael Van Rooyen goes slightly off through the turn at the bottom of the hill. Around the outside of Mikhail, he gives them some room, and easily done to get the 2 Toyotas through. We got a lap and 2 corners to go for Lee Thompson. Looking for the first win here for the BMW team and for Universal Motorsport. This is definitely a valiant effort there in a car that he himself has said probably doesn't have the same amount of pace as what he'd like to have it. But of course you've got to be in it to win it. And he is right now about to start his final lap. He closes in on Johan de Bruin and Andre Besaidnout, who are having their own little fight as well for Masters honours in 3rd place. And Lee Thompson will know that if he can just put those 2 Super Cup competitors between himself and these 2, he may be able to secure the first win for Universal Motorsport. I'm sure Doc Pretorius is sitting on the sidelines going, come on Lee, you got this. Kokobana done. Beat straight to come. Chemical Logistics of Robert Volk has done a superb job to keep Michael van Rooyen at bay. Van Rooyen must be frustrated as hell to try and find a way past, but he hasn't been able to. Fast Developments and Toys R Us car of Mikhail Patamba there on the beach straight as well, just behind the top 3 of GTC. We've just gone through on him. He'll have to do 1 less lap of racing. Thompson looking for the first win. 2 corners to go. Let's see whether or not he's able to do anything about it. It's going to be a great run here to the line for Lee Thompson. He's coming up on the back end of these 2, having another phenomenal battle. And absolutely amazing stuff again from Andre Besaidnout and Johan de Bruin looking for a win. But Lee Thompson is going to be taking this victory, that is for sure. As he comes to the line, standing by with the checkered flag. It's Thompson for the win. And Global Touring Cars Super Cup. A great effort there from the team. And what a run. Flag to flag there from Thompson. He was on pole position. He capitalized on that pole position to take the win ahead of Robert Volk. And Michael van Rooyen will settle for 3rd place. It'll probably give Van Rooyen the overall victory for the day. If there was going to be an overall prize, of course, that's where that would go for the 2 wins and the aggregate time that would be shared between his 1st place and his 3rd place in the category. You can see thumbs up between the 2 drivers there as they go next to each other. But what an effort from Lee Thompson. First win there for Team Universal Motorsport, Team Red Racing in the BMW M2. This is for the lead of Super Cup. As I said, Global Touring Car Super Cup. Brad Liebenberg in this form is a very difficult man to beat. And the Sparko car is about to come and take the 2nd victory of the day ahead of Jonathan Machotsi, his stablemate for Team Volkswagen Racing. He comes through for 2nd. Jeff Kruger will be on the podium. He'll take the 3rd place in the 2nd of the Global Touring Car Super Cup cars, sponsored by Universal Motorsport. As he comes through there for the 3rd place, beating out Saud Variawa. Coming to the line, waiting for Darby Jabir as well. He should have crossed the line there for the Masters. And he would have taken the Masters category win over Nick Davidson. And is it going to be Andre Besaidnout or Johan de Bruin? As we look at the overall results there, it is going to be Johan de Bruin beating Besaidnout to the line on that last lap. So a change up there between the Odacure car and Besaidnout in Team Perfect Circles Super Cup Polo GTI. Mikhail Patamba comes through behind them. And he, of course, crossed the line a lap down on those 2 cars, with Nicky Dix at the back in the Curvent Air Conditioners car. So, confirmation, Thompson, Volk, Van Rooyen, Temple, Indikani, your top 5 in GDCs. Liebenberg, Machotsi, Kruger, and Variawa ahead of Mikhail Patamba in the Super Cup class. In the Masters, it's Jabir from Davidson, De Bruin, Besaidnout, and Nicky Dix finishing up his first outing here in the Global Touring Car Super Cup category. Welcome back to action after Global Touring Cars race number 2. What an amazing dice out there. And a lot of guys were working hard, frantically. But the hardest working in the Super Cup class to start things off was Brad Liebenberg. I managed to catch up with him down at the bottom. Brady, jump in here, buddy. First race didn't quite go according to plan, but it's definitely worked out for you in the end. And a nice finish to today's racing.
Yeah, I think the first race was a little bit tricky. The setup of the car I don't think was, in the best place. I was struggling quite a bit with some rear push in the slower turns, and I think that just constitutes to a lot of loss of straight line speed. Obviously you can't get off the turn, and this track's just about getting off the turn, or obviously for the long straights. And yeah, I struggled a bit through the complex compared to Jason, and I had to come home in 3rd, in 2nd, but yeah, it is what it is, and take the good points. Obviously beating Jono and Jeff, you know, it's good championship points, and that's basically what we're after, is a championship at the end of the day, and the overall result doesn't mean much. But yeah, coming into the second race, obviously we did some big setup changes, and clearly worked. The car was on rails, and I have to obviously thank Graham for that, because you know, we work together as a team, and it just shows when we put our heads together, what we can achieve.
Awesome stuff. Now looking forward to the next round.
Yeah, obviously looking forward, as usual, to the next round. It's been a long break before this race, so you know, it was good to get back in the car, and you know, we did some testing in the off season, the break that we had. Yeah, we did some testing in the break that we had, and if I'm not mistaken, it's Red Star. So yeah, I managed to do some testing there at the beginning of July, and you know, looking strong for there. But again, we've got to see on the weekend.
Awesome stuff. Well done again, and we'll catch you at the next one. There you go. The front end of the GTC class as well, and Robert Volk was at the helm of that. We're going to get him in here first before we catch up with Lee Thompson. So Robbie, come on in here, buddy. I'm going to get you to get this side if you don't mind. But take us through the defensive driving tactics for Robert Volk today to keep out the Rustenburg Rocket.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we struggled in the first race. We made some setup changes. I think it certainly did help. We had better balance throughout the race. But yeah, obviously his speed down the straight was quite impressive this weekend. So we were quicker through the complex, but yeah, into turn 1, turn 2, and turn 3 he was fast. So a lot of defensive driving, but yeah, it's good, clean fight, and enjoyed it.
Placement of the car was crucial.
Yeah, pretty much, especially around East London. So such fast sweeps, as long as you place in the right place, and certainly were able to do it in the second race.
Kind of mixes things up in the championship a little bit as well, heading into Red Star.
Yeah, I think it pretty much nullifies his win in the first one, but obviously, yeah, he's pulling fastest lap, so he clawed back a couple of points, but we should still have the lead going into the next round. So yeah, only a couple of points in it, so it's really good.
The fight's still on.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Awesome stuff, Rob. Thanks for joining us, buddy. All the very best, and well done again. So you have it. That's second place, Robert Volk. He was in such an epic battle there with Michael van Rooyen, but of course the win, and first time win for Team Universal Motorsport, and the man, the guru behind Team Universal Motorsport is Lee Thompson. Come on in, Lee. Dude, I heard you chatting to the team and basically saying, listen, whatever we did right there, make a note, exactly. And I think those notes are now being sort of put down in carbon fiber, if I have to say anything.
Yeah, no, for sure. Look, we took this season to just learn and get to know what GTC is about. Obviously, next year we want to do a good full season, if we can, with 2 cars. Yeah, we battled a bit coming into the weekend. I knew coming here we're going to be a bit on the back foot. The BM is a bit old, and the drag coefficient is an issue for us. We can see we lose a lot down the straight. So the first race, obviously there where you lack, you try and make up in other places where you fine, but you can also just go that quick. So I end up making a few little mistakes in that. We made a few changes for the second heat. Those exact ones we're going to write down now. And look, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Obviously, the 2 behind me fought a lot, so that gave me a bit of a gap. But nevertheless, I'm going to take the win. But we still got some work to do if we want that outright win.
I think it's an awesome effort from the team as well, considering the fact you've got so much health and other work to do during the day, looking after all the juniors in the team. And of course, it's 2021's championship, the first win for BMW.
Yes, it's great for us. These guys have got 5 years on us. It's our first season in it, and to try and learn the car and what it needs and doesn't need. But we're very happy. We've got very capable mechanics. So it makes my life easier. I can concentrate on the guys in the Polo Cup team while the mechanics sort out my car. It's a nice, smooth operation we've got going now.
Awesome, Johnny. Congrats on the win, and go and enjoy it now. The spoils of all the hard work. Congrats. There you go. Lee Thompson taking that final victory in Global Touring Cars. And of course, we now have a little break in the proceedings. We'll be back shortly with Heat 3 of the Volkswagen Polo Cup. Down here in the Volkswagen pit, and of course, it's now time for the Global Touring Cars Super Cup Masters top 3 of the day. An amazing effort out there from all of these guys, and some new drivers coming to join us as well for the very first time. It just bodes well for the series in a whole and its in entirety. And I believe there's about 2 or 3 drivers that could possibly be at the next round if Volkswagen get those cars built in time. Only joking. But they're definitely on the cards, and there's a couple of guys coming to join us. Coming to join the battle that ensued yet today for 3rd place for Team Perfect Circle on Riverside Night. That's your floating trophy, the John Love one, and there's your event trophy. There we go. Good job. In 2nd place, amazing effort from Nick Davidson. Ready? There's your John Love floating trophy and your event trophy as well. These guys are trophy hunters here, hey, in the Masters category. Awesome stuff. And then 1st place, what a drive. It's the Wild Rose Gin car of Davy Joubert from Cape Town. He'll take the overall here for today and bring himself into the championship hunt as well.
Thank you very much.
Good job, brother. There's your official John Love floater. And there's the event trophy. There's your top 3 in the Masters for round 4 of Global Touring Cars Super Cup. Yeah, the floating trophies will stay behind. Thank you, gentlemen. Amazing stuff. Those will go to you at the end. I think we're going to probably do an overall for those. But thank you so much to Dunlop for the honour there of course, honouring John Love, a multiple champion in his own right, and a very, very famous South African motorsport competitor as well. Have we got the top 3 here for Super Cup? We do indeed. I don't have the event standings, but I would assume in 3rd place is going to be Jeff Kruger. Well done, Jeffy. There we go. And that'll be Super Cup 3rd for Team Universal and Team Red Racing. Well done. In 2nd place, Jonathan Machotzi for Volkswagen Motorsport. Nice one, boy. You must come and do more interviews with me. I think it works. And 1st place for Sparko. Congratulations, Brad Liebenberg Racing. Brad Liebenberg. There it is. Just come this way a little bit, guys, so we get a nice backdrop there of the Dunlop backdrop. Come this way a bit. Congratulations, gentlemen. All right, there's your top 3 for the Super Cup class. And of course, join us in a few minutes' time. We'll be getting into Global Touring Cars, the top 3, and to our Polo Cup prize giving as well. Welcome back. Final bit of prize giving for Global Touring Cars, and it's the GTC's top honours. In 3rd place today for WCT and Chemical Logistics in the Toyota Corolla, it's Scotty Temple. Hello, buddy. Join us over there. 2nd place, his teammate put on a fantastic effort to try and get to the front end, and unfortunately it was a bit of a tight finish to the day's racing, but congratulations, and putting 2 cars from the same team onto the overall podium, Robert Volk. Good job, brother, man. And all the way from Rustenburg, the fastest rocket out of Rustenburg you've ever seen in your life, taking 1st place overall today for Team Gazoo Racing in the Toyota Corolla, Michael, the Rustenburg Rocket van Rooyen.
Thank you.
Mask off and smiles, boys. You got to put your Dunlop cap on, please, Michael. Thank you, brother. Look at that! Any fans of Toyota Gazoo Racing, I've got a cap for you! Congratulations, gentlemen, there you have it. The top 3 in Global Touring Cars today. Great job, guys. Thank you so much. There we go. All right, stick around. At a few minutes' time, we'll be getting into a final prize giving and catching up with the drivers from Volkswagen Polo Cup.